Y'all, man, it's your boy Hennythemoor reporting live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing today? And hey, I just wanted to come to y'all, man, and bring y'all some news, some updates, my thoughts about this Dallas Cowboy defensive coordinator search, man. So we got news about some interviews going on in Dallas today. We're gonna talk about schematics on if I like what they actually bring to the table. We're gonna have ourselves a good time in the liquor store, man. So I got about an hour to give y'all some premium Dallas Cowboys content. So y'all go ahead, get you a drink, a refreshment, a snack, whatever. We finna get drunk in the liquor store, man. But hey, y'all know the usual rules and regulations. Y'all tap in with your independent content creators, man. First and foremost, when you slide into the liquor store, what I need you to do is hit that like button. The more likes that I get on these videos, the more that it helps with the algorithm. So if you want the liquor store content to reach more people, you want us to grow, you want us to continue to be able to, raffle stuff off and send folks to games and things like that, hit the like button. It goes a long way in helping your boy out, man. So if you got love for Hennythemoor, just hit the like button, and that's the best way you can show it. After you hit that like button for me, I need you to turn right back around and hit that share button. Y'all know that I believe in manifestation. It did not work out too well this year, but I still believe in putting out all the positive energy in the world for the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll go ahead and get a head start for next year. So if you want the Dallas Cowboys to win title number 6, I need you to share the content 6 times and drop 6 emojis. And when you share the content, it does not matter who you share it with. It could be with 6 different family members, 6 different friends, 6 different co-workers, 6 different whatever. You know what I mean? It does not matter. Just share the content 6 times, drop 6 emojis, and help the Dallas Cowboys manifest that 6th championship in 2024. Then, after you finish that, man, you done hit that like, you done hit that share. I need y'all to turn right back around and slap the dog shit out of an Eagles fan, man. And hey, listen, they out here fleeing the country. You know, they got them boys playing in Brazil next year. They lost so bad they ain't even allowed to start the season in America. They gotta play their way back into the NFL with the way they've been playing, man. But nah, for real though. But if you're able to find an Eagles fan and slap the shit out of them, I will be able to give you half off on all the merchandise inside the liquor store. And you know, we got exactly what you need to succeed over here, man. We got cow burritos, we got gin, we got hen, and everything else under the sun that can make you sin. So tap in with your boy, Hennythemoor, and come get drunk in the liquor store. Hey, salute to everybody in the chat box, man. My boy Willie T in the building, helping us practice manifestation. He said, let's not waste Zimmer. Let's not waste time. Zimmer is the guy, and Jerry knows it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's their favorite. T Smooth TV, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love. Lil OS Tyler, what's up with you, man? Salute to you. Thomas A. Garrett in the liquor store, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping in and rocking with your boy. Charlotte Jones said, yo, what's up with you, man? How you living? T Smooth TV dropped the 6 stars too. What's up, man? So yeah, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it then, man. I see everybody is in attendance. He said, do I really got a liquor store? Hey, man. I got a liquor cabinet, and if you want some on Sunday, you might be able to holler at me. I don't know how y'all do it where y'all at. But you know, some folks can't get bottles of liquors on a Sunday. But you know, that's neither here nor there. I ain't gonna talk too loud. But what's up with you though, James Ferguson? How you living, boy? He said, I'm fine with Mike Zimmer as DC. Oh, also, if you want to help out in the liquor store, you can hit the Cash App. It's $Hennythemoor, or you can hit the Super Chats or the Super Stickers. He said he always produces some solid defenses. Let's go ahead and talk about it, man. So there was a report this morning, right? There was a report this morning that I saw that Mike Zimmer was in Dallas to interview for the head coaching job. Let me see if I got the right stuff loaded in. I hate when this. There it go. So yeah, according to Tom Pelissero, how you say his name? Forgive me if I butchered it, but he said the Cowboys are interviewing former Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer today for their vacant defensive coordinator job, per his sources. So Mike Zimmer will be in Dallas. Hey James, I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good, brother. I can't complain. You know, one day at a time. Still traumatized by these Dallas Cowboys letting us down in the postseason. But outside of that, things been good, bro. I hope everything's going well on your end too. So he's in Dallas. He's going to be interviewing for that gig. And listen, I told y'all how I felt about that the last show when you saw me with Wes and Landlord last night. I just thought it was real peculiar that Mike Zimmer said he was interested. Because how the order of things and what happened, right? Mike Zimmer was reported as being interested in the job. Like nobody had brought his name up as a candidate or anything. But he was reportedly interested in the job. He probably talked to somebody and that got leaked out. And then all of a sudden, after he showed interest in the job, that's when, you know, he became a candidate for the position. We already know that Mike Zimmer is well connected with the organization. He won a Super Bowl ring with the Dallas Cowboys as a defensive back coach back in the 90s. Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Roy Williams. You know, so he has a pedigree in Dallas. They look at him the same way that they look at Sean Payton. They look at him as one of the good young coaches that they let walk out of the door, right? Then he went on to be the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings down the line after being the DC here, then being the DC in Cincinnati. And listen, he's had some great defenses. I'm not going to knock him. He's had some good defenses over the years. Multiple top 10 defenses over the course of his career as a defensive play caller. Right. And even when he was the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, he called the defenses just like Mike McCarthy calls the offense now in Dallas. So that was still his baby. That was still the side of the ball that he was most involved with. So again, if you just look at his scoring defenses, go all the way back. You can go all the way back to 2009. He had a top 6 scoring defense with Cincinnati. 2011, top 10. 2012, top 10. 2013, top 10. 2014, 11th. 2015, 5th. 2016, 6th. First in 2017 when they made the NFC Championship game. The Minnesota Miracle happened and they upset the Saints. Remember that? 2018. So he's had a bunch of really, really, really good defenses, man. So and I'm going to be completely honest with you. He is not my favorite. He is not my favorite candidate. Really, none of the guys they're talking about. Not Wink, not Mike Zimmer, definitely not Ron Rivera. But out of all the names that they brought up, or at least all of the names that they're actually going to interview, I still would prefer having Mike Zimmer over a Ron Rivera. Like, it's been too long for Ron. Like, Ron was a defensive coordinator back in the Obama administration. Like 2009, 2010 was the last years of Ron Rivera being an actual defensive coordinator. I have doubts about Mike Zimmer calling the defense, and he only been out the league 2 years. The last time that he actually coordinated a defense from start to finish, Ron Rivera, was back in 2010. That's 14 years ago, man. Like, the world has completely changed. We ain't know nothing about San Diego Chargers. Matter of fact, the Chargers were still in San Diego the last time that he was calling defenses. That in of itself has been a pretty long time when you think about it. Right, that's been a pretty long time since they were the San Diego Chargers. So it's entirely too long. They said, who was my favorite? Yours was Joe Witt. I probably would have preferred Joe Witt over some of these other guys. Because one, with Joe Witt, at least you had continuity. Because Joe Witt already knew the play calls. He already knew the personnel packages that we already had installed for the defense. Only thing I would have asked Joe Witt to do was play more linebackers. Like, play more traditional linebacker looks and less big nickel. I would have been fine with Joe Witt. But, getting an entirely different DC in the building means you probably will have an entirely different set of play calls. You'll have an entirely different philosophy to how you call the defense. So there probably will be growing pains no matter who we bring in. So only thing I will say about Mike Zimmer is that he does believe in the 4-3 fronts. He does believe in playing man coverage, right? because he does blitz quite a bit. But I like some of the things that Mike Zimmer does from a schematical standpoint. I really do. I just don't really know if he's a perfect fit for us. You know what I mean? But I said it before and I'll say it again. Because the Dallas Cowboys have refused to extend Mike McCarthy, it's very hard to coerce a young guy to come into Dallas, pack up from wherever the hell he's at, come to Dallas, and possibly only have a job for a year. Right? There's no job security in that. That's part of the reason why Joe Witt left. And we're being honest with it. Think about it. I already said it, but some other smart people said it as well. All right, some other smart folks said it as well. So let me see if I got this here. Nope. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. That's not it either. I guess some of my stuff didn't load in. But point being is Joe Witt took the job security. He's going to a team that's in an obvious rebuild. They're going to draft the quarterback this year 9 times out of 10. So Dan Quinn and him together, they got like 4-5 years to get that stuff together. So Joe Witt, who was already in the building, decided the 5 years and a guaranteed job was better than 1 year and staying in Dallas. Even though he felt that Dallas was his dream job, right? He reportedly said being the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys was always a dream of his. But when you're a grown man with kids, and I believe he's married and all these other responsibilities, job security and having some structure in your life is more important than a dream. So he took that. And that's really the way a lot of these young guys are going to look at the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator position when there's no job security. Like Mike McCarthy and this team, and listen, it's not even about having a good season. You got to remember, if Mike McCarthy doesn't get to an NFC Championship game, he's probably not going to get extended. Right? He's probably not going to get extended. They can win 12 games, be a 1 seed, and if they lose in the wild card or the divisional round, Mike McCarthy might not have a job. It's very hard to get to a damn championship game. It's very hard to do all these things, right? So it just doesn't make sense if you're a young guy that's trying to get their feet wet, come to Dallas and play under that level of scrutiny, that level of need. You had to achieve that much just to keep your job. That's very hard to do. Like Dan Quinn and them don't have to do much. They don't even have to win a certain number of games. They know it's a complete rebuild this year. So there's no pressure on them. Their jobs are secured. There's really not too much they can do to lose their jobs. Joe Witt was not going to wait around for Jerry the Turkish Chain and not promote him. That's a very good point too. Because remember, he was just waiting to have an interview. They did not even interview Joe Witt, right? They didn't even have to interview Joe Witt. Joe Witt was just offered the job and he accepted it. So, there was no guarantee that Joe Witt would have even got the job in Dallas, even if he waited around for it. So that's very true. And you got to think about it. They probably like Mike Zimmer more than they like Joe Witt. Because they know him. Like I said, Mike Zimmer and Jerry Jones go to the range together, shoot guns. They've been friends for years. They get along very well. He says Junior Seau was still playing in San Diego at the time. R.I.P. to Junior Seau, man. I just now read that, Thomas A. Garrett. R.I.P. to Junior Seau, man. So I don't really know, man. I have mixed emotions about having Mike Zimmer or any of these guys call the defense. Because I also get the inkling suspicion that if anything goes wrong, they might try to promote Mike Zimmer to the head coaching position. Right? So I don't know. What are y'all thoughts about Mike Zimmer? Because I'm going to play y'all some stuff in regards to the AA looks that he brings. This was a little thing by the ESPN that from when John Gruden was drawing it up. And it actually shows some stuff that they were doing when he was still in Minnesota. But what are y'all thoughts about Mike Zimmer in Dallas? I'm very interested to know. What are y'all thoughts? Because, man, I don't know, bro. It just feels like the Dallas Cowboys, they never really swing for the fences to get like a young and up and coming guy in the building. Like they always go with rehashes and shit like that. Said Chip says, I think Zim is the man for the job. And like I said, man, like I can find positive things about pretty much any of these dudes. Like I like Mike Zimmer because of his double A looks, his pedigree, his resume. He's had multiple top 10 defenses as a defensive play caller. So I can find positive things about Mike Zimmer. But I also can find negative things. You've been out the league for 2 years. You know, your last couple seasons calling defenses, your defenses weren't that good, right? You rubbed people the wrong way on the way out in Minnesota. So that there's plenty of things I can find positive and negative, you know, for Mike Zimmer. But you know, that's just me. That's just me. Really, it's not really. I will also say this in defense of Mike Zimmer. They probably didn't have the same level of talent as the Dallas Cowboys did over there in Minnesota. I know they had the Neil Hunter. You know, I know they had Anthony Barr when he was younger. You know, they had Kendricks when he was younger. If I'm not mistaken, you know, they had some decent secondary players. But I don't think they had talent to the level of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they didn't have a Micah Parsons. They didn't have, you know, a Trayvon Diggs or a Deron Bland. Like, I think we have better overall talent for what he wants to run. I know they like the good old boy network, man. Yeah, I know they like him. And like I said, you can't really argue the fact that he got a good resume, though. You can't argue the resume. Super Bowl champ, went to an NFC Championship game as a head coach, multiple top 10 defenses. I get it. Like, he has skins on the wall. They love skins on the wall. They love hiring people they're accustomed to, hiring people that they have past relationships with. You know, in the words of Brian Broaddus, they like to be comfortable. And Mike Zimmer is the exact kind of hire that makes them the most comfortable. So I get it. But man, I'm gonna play this video for y'all, man. I might have to go back and take it back out after later on. Right? They probably gonna flag me for it after the fact, but I'm gonna play this video for y'all real quick. Hold on. So we're finna watch John Gruden talk about the double A gap looks that Mike Zimmer deployed, and this actually is from his time in Minnesota. So let's take a look at that. I'm gonna pause the music. I'm gonna show this. I might have to go back out and cut this out later on, but whatever. Here we go.
What really makes the Vikings special is Mike Zimmer's double A package. And what he does is he takes his two inside linebackers, Barr and Kendricks, and instead of lining them up in a normal alignment, he puts them in the A gap between the center and the guard. Then he takes his free safety, Harrison Smith, and he lines him up on the line of scrimmage. Then he takes his nickel corner and he puts him on the line of scrimmage on the strong side. So now they got 4 defenders on one side of the center, and they got 4 defenders on the other side of the center. It's Mike Zimmer's double A package. He did it in Cincinnati, he's doing it in Minnesota, and he's ripping people. A lot of the times, his 2 inside linebackers, they act like they're blitzing, but they bluff, and they run out of here and they play coverage. The free safety's acting like he's blitzing, and he bluffs, and he runs and covers the flat. The nickel is acting like he's blitzing, and he drops into the flat. Well, the next time you think they're bluffing, they bring them both. Or they bring one, and they bring him, and they bring 4 to a side. They got about 25 different things that they can do. I love watching these guys because they raise all kind of hell. They really do.
All right. So that was John Gruden discussing the double A looks that Mike Zimmer likes to deploy. So in my opinion, like it's a good change of pace because you can generate pressure, you can simulate pressure, and you're not really telegraphing who's coming and who's going. So that extra bit of hesitation might make the quarterback hold on to the ball a little bit longer than they want to. It might cause some confusion. You might think somebody's coming that's actually falling into coverage. You might pull the trigger too quick and throw an interception. So I like some of the concepts. I don't think you can run solely that and be a successful defense in 2024. But having that look, being a change of, being a curveball or a fastball, as you will, to change up some of your things, like, I don't think it's bad. He said, we ran that in high school over 30 years ago. Looks like a split six defense. And it's very similar. Like, it is very similar to what you're talking about. Very similar. Now, like I said, do I want them to run that exclusively? Hell no. Like, I still want you to line up in some traditional looks, but deploying that, especially on third downs, like that's a good look to get offenses in, because you never really know who's actually going to be covering or blitzing in that look, because everybody's so close to the line of scrimmage. Zimmer would bring in linebackers and keep them. That's a positive for me. I agree with that. I agree that Mike Zimmer would. I believe that Wink Martindale would. The reason I'm not really talking about Wink Martindale or Mike Vrabel is because I have not really seen a single report that says they're actually interviewing for the job. No, I saw Brian Broaddus say that Wink Martindale name was in play, but I have not actually seen a report that he actually was extended, an invitation to interview. I haven't seen a report that Mike Vrabel was extended an invitation to interview or anything along those lines. So, that's why I've only been talking about really Mike Zimmer. I'm not even really talking about Durden, because in my opinion, Durden had to be interviewed anyway. You need at least one person with of an ethnic background for the Rooney Rule. So I believe that Durden was more of a Rooney Rule interview, and they probably want Mike Zimmer. They just can't flat out hire Mike Zimmer, but I think that they want Mike Zimmer, because the way that it's playing out, it seems like Mike Zimmer has been their guy. Is the obvious guy that they want to hire. They just can't flat out hire him without without having those other interviews. He said Mike Zimmer is like a defense of Mike Shanahan. He said, what's up, Sugar Daddy One? They were tapping in and showing love to the liquor store, man. Yes, Joe, this is a live show. I'm here in the flesh. Just hollering at y'all real quick, man. I went ahead and went to lunch. I finished up my couple inspections I had. I went ahead and took my lunch. That's all it is. So I know I'm a little early, but I'm here. It said Vrabel should not be considered. He was only a DC for one season. It was a bust. I haven't really did a lot of background work on Mike Vrabel. Action Pal, what's Gucci, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the liquor store. Hey, everybody on y'all way in, man, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that share button. And make sure y'all slap the dog shit out of an Eagles fan while you're at it, man. We in the liquor store. We're getting drunk on the content. We having ourselves a good time, man, on a Tuesday afternoon, morning. It's afternoon for some of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and say afternoon. It's 11:50. Do love attitude Zimmer brings, but I would prefer Vrabel. I do think Eder would bring the linebacker room back. The reason I'm gonna say this about Mike Vrabel, man. The reason that Mike Vrabel makes so much sense is because whether or not Mike McCarthy is here or anything, like Mike Vrabel probably only wants to be a DC 1 year anyway. He was just a head coach. He got a team to a AFC championship game. He's just trying to buy time until his name heats back up in the next hiring cycle. So Mike Vrabel really just wants to go to a defense that already has pieces in place. He wants to have a real good season as a DC, coordinate a top 5, top 10 defense, and then, enter the coaching market again as a hot name for another job. So that's what I feel about Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel probably would work out for what we got going because Mike Vrabel would not be concerned about a long-term deal because either A, he'll be in place to get the job if McCarthy gets fired, or B, he'll do such a good job that his name will be hot going to the next coaching hiring cycle next season. So Mike Vrabel makes sense just because you don't have to worry about if he would mind coming. Ricky Scott said, "What's up, HTM? Let's go." Hey, what's up, my boy? I see you. Willie T, I would have told Jerry Jones behind closed doors, fuck that rule, just give me my money and I'm out. Thing I like about Vrabel is the pursuit. He demands his defense to play with that, and I know Vrabel believes in Mike linebacker being green dot guy. I think both of them would value a traditional middle linebacker more than Dan Quinn did. I'm not saying that Dan Quinn is a bad person. I know that I've been saying a bunch of things about Dan since he's been gone, but we already seen the reports, from the Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen about how they decided to end up running the football because they saw that he refused to match personnel. We seen that the role that he put J-Ron Curse in. We seen that he asked Marquise Bell to play undersized linebacker. So I can't say that Dan Quinn values the linebacker position like that. Because he did not value it while he was here in Dallas. But I know for a fact that Zimmer had a good linebacker room. I know that Vrabel had a good linebacking room, and I would really hope that they would bring that back in here, right? If either one of them were to get the job. He said Mike Vrabel was the DC in 2017 Houston, and their defense was ranked 23rd, which was worse than their 2016 defense. Well, I'm glad you gave that tidbit of information for us, my boy. I appreciate you. He said Vrabel definitely wants to win to get his name back out there. Facts. Hey, listen, it's all about setting yourself up for the future. If you're a coach and you don't currently have a job, you want to set yourself up to where you can be successful. And, Mike Aldana, I know, right? It's crazy. If I was the Dallas Cowboys, I would have been interviewing guys while Dan Quinn was interviewing. But, they really wanted Dan Quinn back on the cool. If we're being honest, they wanted Dan Quinn back. And what's crazy, if Bobby Slowick and some of these other young up-and-coming candidates didn't stay with their original team, Dan Quinn would have been back in Dallas. Like Ben Johnson and Slowick and all those other young guys, withdrew their names from candidacy, and that's how Dan Quinn ended up with a job. Dan Quinn was not their first option. He wasn't, and Dan Quinn would have been back as the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator for another year of Big Nickel. It just so happened that things fell the way they fell. They decided they didn't want to go into consideration for those jobs. Dan Quinn ended up getting a job, and now here we are. And because they wanted Dan Quinn back, they weren't going to fire him, right? They wanted Dan Quinn back. They just weren't going to fire him because they were going to welcome Dan Quinn back with open arms. They were. Said facts. We should have been interviewing. We drag our feet too much. A lot of these coaches are waiting to see what happens this coming season. Hey, Henny. Hey, everyone. What's up, Eric Wallace? He said, we need Mike Zimmer and two linebacker. I need us to bring in linebackers regardless. Trey G, what's up with you, man? Support from New Jersey, bro. Every time I join, I make sure I slap that like button and then slap the fuck out of Eagles fan. That's love right there, Trey. Salute to you, my brother. Thank you for coming into the liquor store, my guy. So why we didn't let Mike Ayers walk and hire Dan Quinn? Comfortability. Because remember, we are the ones that are not impressed with the 12-5 seasons anymore. Jerry Jones is very impressed that we've had back-to-back 12-5 seasons. Because remember, when Jason Garrett was here as the head coach, they only reached the 12-win plateau 2 times. Right? They only reached the 12-win plateau 2 times when Jason Garrett was here. We won 12 games in 2014. We won 13 games in 2016. But Jason Garrett was the head coach for 10 years. So in 10 years, Jason Garrett only got Jerry Jones two seasons where they ended with 12 wins or more. Mike McCarthy has given him 12 wins in 3 of his 4 seasons. So Jerry Jones is impressed by that. He just wants more in the postseason. Right? They just want more in the postseason. So in Jerry Jones' mind, they're gonna let Mike McCarthy try and fix this. They're gonna give him another year. Because listen, Mike McCarthy was the play caller. Mike McCarthy got Dak Prescott his first All-Pro selection, got him MVP consideration, got CeeDee Lamb his first team All-Pro selection. So there were things that Mike McCarthy did that he could bring to the table and say, look, things have not ended the way that I wanted them to end, but I did this, and I did this, and we're building a foundation so we can do this, right? And that's pretty much the conversation that he probably had with a Mike McCarthy. Because Mike McCarthy can say, look, outside of the first year when Dak Prescott was hurt, I got you to the playoffs every year. I got you 12 wins every year. I got you a playoff game. I got you your first road playoff game in 30 years. You know, like he can go down a list of positive things that he did to keep his job. You know what I mean? So now, in my opinion, Jerry Jones is still on the fence with Mike McCarthy because if he really was all in with Mike, he would have gave him an extension by now. But he's making Mike McCarthy play out the last year of his contract to see if he can get more out of Mike in the postseason. But I think Jerry Jones wanted to keep that foundation in place because, believe me, we've seen with some of the past coaches that we had that you can do worse than Mike McCarthy. It's just he wants more from Mike. JJ wants you to think he's doing his due diligence. I mean, Jerry Jones wants us to always think he's doing his due diligence and he's going above and beyond to put things out there for the team to be successful. He does. Said, y'all think Jerry sent Dak on a mission to recruit Sean Lee for a coaching position? Hell no. I think that Dak Prescott is just a really light guy, and his former teammates like hanging out with him. Besides, y'all got to remember, Jerry and Dak relationship ain't like that. Like Jerry and Dak Prescott are not buddy. You know, that's why there's always this tension when it's time for a contract. Like Jerry and Dak are not buddy. So they ain't doing that. They ain't doing favors for each other. They ain't sending messages for each other. None of that. So yeah, and that also is a good way to look at it. He said you don't want to pay Mike for not coaching for a year. Yeah, because coaches' contracts are guaranteed. But I do believe that he likes Mike McCarthy. You got to remember, Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones had a damn sleepover during the hiring process. He went and he stayed the night at Jerry Jones' crib when they were doing the hiring process. He liked Mike McCarthy. He likes the fact that Mike McCarthy has success in Green Bay, and he's bringing, he bringing that cachet over to Dallas, right? That's why he liked Mike McCarthy so much. That he's even willing to look over some of the shortcomings. Yeah, listen, Sean Lee can be a coach if he wants to be a coach. I just don't know if Sean Lee wants to be a coach. I just don't know if he wants to be a coach. He can be a coach. He's one of the most knowledgeable players you'll probably ever meet, right? Because he always won with his mind and not his physicality. I just don't know if he would want to be a coach and have that level of scrutiny and stress on his life right now. Like it looks like he still got money put up. It looks like he's enjoying his time with his wife and family, chilling. Like you don't ever see Sean Lee. The fact that we saw Dak Prescott with Sean Lee was like seeing Bigfoot. You don't really see Sean Lee, man. Justin Kitchen, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the liquor store. Salute to you. For everybody that late coming in, man, we just seen a report that Mike Zimmer will be in Dallas interviewing for the Dallas Cowboy head coaching job. I mean, I ain't finna speak that into existence. I'm sorry. Let me knock on wood. Yeah, we seen a report that Mike Zimmer will be in Dallas interviewing for the defensive coordinator position. Woo. Yeah, he in Dallas going to be interviewing for the defensive coordinator position today, and I just pretty much gave my thoughts about it. He does have a resume. He does have a track record of top 10 scoring defenses, and he does have a history with the Dallas Cowboys front office. So in my opinion, he will probably be the guy that gets the job because that's on brand for them to hire somebody like Mike Zimmer. I'm not saying that Mike Zimmer is bad, but he has been out of football for 2 years. I'm not saying that he's horrible either. You know what I'm saying? Because he, like I said, he has a resume. I'm not really sold on any of these guys, honestly, but there are always, greater evils. Like Ron Rivera, I would throw up in my mouth a little bit. I might have a miniature stroke. I don't know. They hired somebody like Ron Rivera. I would feel like that would set the Dallas Cowboys back multiple seasons. Johnny Ferretta, what's up with you, man? Hey, that was a Freudian slip, bro. Like, hey, and listen, that might be what they really planning in the back of their minds. Like, they gonna let this play out. If Mike McCarthy doesn't get them as far as they want to get him, they might, push Mike Zimmer up to their head coaching position. I'm not saying that's a smart thing to do. I'm just saying when you deal with the Dallas Cowboys front office, all that is in play, dog. All that stuff is in play. Like you gotta trust and believe that they will do stuff like that, bro. To Willie T, and he will not be with Catboard politics. He will only answer to Jerry Jones. Jerry does want to be able to say he built a coach. Kellen Moore was Jason Garrett part 2. I mean, he would have been, but that's another thing. Like, I'm glad that you brought up Kellen Moore. The fact that Mike McCarthy was able to get rid of Kellen Moore when Kellen Moore was their golden child, and it also speaks to how much that they like Mike. It speaks to how much they like Mike. So, yeah, Johnny Herrero said, "Congrats to the next defensive coordinator. He's going to get the job. There's too much stuff floating around in the air for him not to get the job. It's probably the worst kept secret in the NFL at this point that Mike Zimmer's going to be the DC." Says Zimmer has been in Boulder, Colorado with Deion Sanders' team last year and in Jackson State in 2022. He also held a coaching clinic at Grambling State and helped the coaches down there. Like, he just held a coaching clinic for Grambling State at the HBCU. So Mike Zimmer been busy. Like, Mike Zimmer still been around the game of football. He's still been teaching and learning and doing everything else in between. So he ain't been in the NFL, but he has been doing things football related in his time away from the NFL. He's been around other coaches. He's been teaching at the college level. So, why we don't get high end free agent Stephen Jones. You want to really know who doesn't like Dak? Stephen Jones. We need more pie, not enough pie. Well, listen, Stephen Jones was also mad at Jerry Jones for getting Deion Sanders. That should tell you all you need to know. He was mad as hell. That Jerry Jones went out there and got Deion Sanders, even though Deion Sanders' acquisition directly led to our last Super Bowl, because he was able to shut down the entire side of a field, and he made our defense that much better, and we weakened the 49ers by acquiring him. So Stephen Jones, if we're being honest, has more culpability in why we aren't able to get the free agents we want than Jerry Jones does. Because at this point, Jerry Jones is damn near 90 years old. Stephen Jones has much more control over the organization that we give him credit for. Yeah, Thomas A. Garrett, he been doing football clinics, but I just thought it was dope that he went down to Grambling and did that one. I just actually seen the footage of it not too long ago. I think it was this morning, if I'm not mistaken. I seen the footage on it. Sin City Cowboy, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the podcast, my brother. So, yeah, like I said, there are worse candidates we can get besides Mike Zimmer, but I don't know, man. But speaking of Mike Zimmer, and speaking of pie, because we were just talking about Stephen Jones, sorry ass. They're going to tell you about pie. They're going to tell you about we can't sign people because of this person. We can't sign people because of that person. We can't. And I just wanted to throw this out there. I know that I've spoken on this like 4 or 5 times already, but somebody was nice enough to make a tweet about it with all the numbers readily available, so I can read it off to you, and you can have a visual interpretation of what the hell I was talking about. I might even go and pair this with the other video that I already did. But the Dallas Cowboys can clear all kinds of cap space. If you extend Dak Prescott, you save $26.2 million. If you extend CeeDee Lamb, you'll save about $13.4 million. If you restructure Zach Martin, you'll save about 12.5. You restructure DeMarcus Lawrence, you'll save about 4.3. And if you were to get rid of Michael Gallup, he said about 5.1. But if you wait post-June cut, I believe that figure is actually closer to $10 million. Either way, Dallas Cowboys can clear a shit ton of cap space. So let's just use the numbers on this graph real quick. Let's just use the numbers currently on this graph, right? So 26.2 plus 13.4 plus 12.5 plus 4.3 plus 5.1. If you do all that math, that is $61.5 million. Now the Dallas Cowboys are in the hole about 20. So that's what $41.5 million in the green the Dallas Cowboys would be. So the Dallas Cowboys can get up to $41.5 million in cap space to use with 5 roster moves. So they can get up to the $41.5 million in cap space with 5 roster moves. Because remember, people be worried about the wrong thing. Like he's he's a $60 million or a $40 million quarterback. He's a $20 million wide receiver. That shit don't matter. The only thing that matters is the actual cap hit. The actual cap hit, bro, is all that matters. Because Dak Prescott was a $40 million a year quarterback that has never made $40 million against the cap. Because he only made 17 and some change the first year of that deal, 19 and some change the second year of that deal, and like 27 and some change the third year of that deal. Dak Prescott cap hit has never been $40 million. And it won't be 50-something million dollars next year because they're going to get the extension done. And he'll still probably make under $40 million on the first year of that extension. So that's the per average per year does not really matter. The actual cap hit season to season is what matters. Jerry Jones be tweaking. Listen, Jerry Jones knows what the cap is, right? They know what the cap is. Their thing is they don't like manipulating the cap. They don't like manipulating the cap and kicking the can down the road. That's their thing. Like, oh, we got to worry about the 2030 draft. Man, fuck. I might be dead in 6 years, dog. Knock on wood. I ain't trying to die. But I might be dead in 6 years. I don't care about the 2030 cap, dog. I'm trying to win a championship right now. And that's the issue. The Dallas Cowboys are scared of messing up the cap because we were in cap hell for several years. I will give Stephen Jones credit for that. He did clear up the bad contracts we had. He did get us out of cap hell. The issue is once we got out of cap hell, they have been ultra conservative since then. Ultra conservative. Yeah, they worried about the wrong thing, like the 2030 cap. Like, we don't care about that, dog. We don't care about that. We don't care. We want to build a competent team that can compete for a championship and compete for a Super Bowl, man. Like, we don't care about what your plans are 4, 5, 6 years down the road. And there's entirely too many teams right now showing you can have a high cap bill and still be competitive. The Rams were supposed to be in a down year this year because the cap space wasn't right. They went to the playoffs, and they're going to be out of cap hell this upcoming season. They already had that. They had one rough year of cap space and still made a playoff appearance, still overachieved, and they're going to be right back to being able to add players next year. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, they be concerned about the cap when the cap is not even that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Like, there are too many teams that manipulate the cap space, get the players they want, sign the players they want, and they prosper and they're competitive and they're able to overcome having some cap issues down the line. They're able to move some stuff here and move some stuff there, or cut an old guy that's no longer producing to save a little bit of money. Or there's always ways around it. The Dallas Cowboys are the only ones that continue to act like they are handcuffed by the cap. They're the only ones that continue to act like they're handcuffed by the cap. Well, yeah, they don't like paying players either. They don't like doing any of this. But listen, they have cap experts. They have cap experts. HTM, we go out get Mark Henry and draft. Oh, talking about Derrick Henry. Yeah, we go out and we get Derrick Henry and we draft a pretty decent running back. You know, that greatly improves our ability to compete next year. The Dallas Cowboys, and listen, this is a small fact for you. In three playoff games, the Dallas Cowboys, and this is within the Dak Prescott era of him being the starter. So in 3 playoff games, the Dallas Cowboys running backs have accounted for 100 yards or more. We're 2-1 in those games. The only loss was the 3rd and 20 conversion by Aaron Rodgers in Dak Prescott rookie year. But we ran for over 100 yards with our running back in 2018. We won the game. We ran for over 100 yards with our running backs in the Tampa Bay game. We won the game. Right? So, Dallas Cowboys, you have to give Dak Prescott some support. There's very few, and listen, there are very few quarterbacks that you can even ask to play the style that we asked Dak Prescott to and win. Some of y'all don't like Dak Prescott. Some of y'all love Dak Prescott. Regardless, if Patrick Mahomes needs a run game in the postseason, then I think that we need to give his Dak Prescott ass a run game. He damn sure ain't Patrick Mahomes. We can all agree that Dak Prescott is nowhere as good as Patrick Mahomes. So if Patrick Mahomes needs a run game in the postseason, they towing that thing with Pacheco and they doing all those different things, then shit, I need my quarterback to also have a run game. I mean, yeah, we can always have a worse quarterback, bro. Like, we can always have a worse quarterback. Cause do y'all remember the Matt Castle years? Do y'all remember the year when we had Kyle Orton? Kyle Orton was playing quarterback for us. We had Matt Castle at one point. The Drew Bledsoe year before Tony Romo got here. Like, dog, we had some questionable ass quarterbacks come through Dallas, dog. Some questionable quarterbacks. And listen, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the world. He's not. But at the same time, he has shown us that he can win games in the postseason when he has a running game. Yeah, when he has a running game, he can win. He can win postseason games. He has a winning record when he has a running game in the postseason. So just go back to that. Don't ask Dak Prescott to throw the ball 40, 50, 60 times in a damn playoff game and expect for him to win the game for you. Give him some support. You know what I mean? So yes, Saquon Barkley. All right, I would take a Saquon Barkley. I would go all in and entice Josh Jacobs to come to Dallas. I would go and get a Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? Just, in my opinion, just put better talent around Dak Prescott. But listen, it's hard for me to believe that you can't win. And listen, doesn't that say more about the roster construction than the player that we can't win a Super Bowl with an all-pro quarterback for the second time? Because Tony Romo was an all-pro quarterback. That means at one point he performed as the second best quarterback in the National Football League, right? That was his ceiling. The second best in the league was Tony Romo's ceiling. And you mean to tell me you could not win a championship with that? So far, Dak Prescott's ceiling has been the second best quarterback in the league for a season. And you mean to tell me you can't win a championship with that? There are people winning championships with worse quarterbacks. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl because he had a defense and a great run game. right? We saw Brad Johnson win a Super Bowl because of defense and a run game and a couple of decent throws here and there. We've seen Jimmy Garoppolo win a playoff game with 8 passing attempts. We've seen Joe Burrow win a playoff game with 0 touchdown passes, a pick, and only scoring 17 points because his defense still stood up for him. So I've seen so many different quarterbacks win in so many different ways where it really didn't involve them throwing the ball around the yard. Hell, look at Troy Aikman. When Troy Aikman won his championships, Troy ain't never thought. Listen, I love Troy Aikman. Like he was that guy. He always held his nuts in crunch time. I got nothing but love and respect for Troy Aikman. But Troy Aikman ain't never threw for 30 touchdowns. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the most touchdowns that Troy ever threw in a season was like 23 or 24. You know what I mean? Like we had Emmitt Smith. We were running the ball with Emmitt Smith. Troy would do his thing from time to time with the play action stuff. But I just don't understand why we're so far removed from thinking that quarterbacks don't need everything around them to be successful. You know what I mean? Like when we won championships, it wasn't with no motley crew of mess ups. We had future Hall of Famer at the quarterback position, the running back position, the wide receiver position, on the O-line, Hall of Fame corners, Hall of Fame safeties, Hall of Fame linebackers. Like we had all that stuff going for us in Dallas, and a Hall of Fame coach. So when the Dallas Cowboys were winning championships, we had the Avengers. We had the Avengers on this team. But y'all expect us to win championships with 2 or 3 guys that are playing above expectation. That's not really how that's supposed to work, is it? That's not how that works. So yes, the Dallas Cowboys need to be more open to signing guys in free agency. Oh yeah, he went crazy in the Super Bowl. He threw like 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in that Super Bowl. I can't remember off the top of my head. Hey, salute to my brother, Mr. Richburg, for the $10 cash app, man. I appreciate you for showing love to the liquor store, my brother. Salute to you. Yeah, they have Hall of Famers everywhere. I don't understand when we came up with this notion that it needs to be 1 or 2 superstars and a cast of nobodies in order for that. I keep getting tired of seeing Dak Prescott needs everything around him. Yes, he does. He does. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, dog. There's nothing wrong with that. Because when we actually had success in this franchise, Roger Staubach was not throwing to no Rudy Poos. Like, you mean to tell me that y'all forgot who the hell Roger Staubach played with? All the great Hall of Fame plays that Roger Staubach had. He had Too Tall Jones. He had Tony Dorsett, Pearson. Like, he had all these great Hall of Fame players on his team. I get tired of people acting like super teams are not the ones that win championships. They are. The super teams are the ones that win championships in the NFL. I'm sorry. Kansas City Chiefs, best quarterback in the league, best play caller in the league, best tight end in the league, one of the best defenses in the league, best pass rushing defensive tackle in the league. For years, they had one of the best man-to-man cover corners in the league, who was also a Dallas Cowboy at one point, and we let him walk for a bag of chips and a backup offensive lineman, but that's neither here nor there. But you get my point. You need a bunch of stuff to win championships. You need a bunch of great players on your team to win championships, man. And that's really one of the reasons why Stephen Jones not wanting to pay people is not conducive to us building that kind of roster. It's not conducive to it. You ain't got no kind of linebackers on this team. You ain't got no kind of linebackers on this team. Your running back room was lackluster. Your play calling at times were lackluster. Like some of your safeties that you signed and were playing didn't play up to their contracts. I'm sorry, I like Dunno, but he didn't have a 2022 caliber performance in 2023. J-Ron Kurtz took a step back in his productivity. So there's still a bunch of things that need to be fixed on this team before you can say you're actually a Super Bowl contender. And until they open up their paychecks, they checkbooks and sign guys away, it's not gonna happen. And listen, think about what Kansas City had when they won their first championship. They had Tyreek Hill, they had Kelsey. No, they had running backs. They were so good. They had old boy playing for them as their third option at wide receiver. What was the boy name? Y'all know who I was talking about. Damn, I forget kid name. He used to play for Buffalo. But y'all know the point though. Like, they had a super team. They had everything. Like, listen, Patrick Mahomes, when he won his first championship, had the best wide receiving core in the National Football League, and he had the best play caller. He had a good offensive line. Sammy Watkins, thank you, bro. When I be having brain farts like that and I can't recall what the player name was and shit like that, that bothers me. It bothers me a lot. So I appreciate you for reminding me of kinfolk name. Thank you. Yeah, Sammy Watkins was a 1,000-yard receiver that came over and became their third option. He became their third option. So yeah, so they had Sammy Watkins, they had Tyreek Hill, they had Travis Kelsey, and you got the occasional big play from Mecole Hardman. So they were super deep. They were super deep when they won their first championship. So yeah, man, like this notion that you're just gonna go out there and have a team full of scrubs and vanguards and shit and win championships is not realistic. You gotta load the clip if you want to go to war. Folks out here with AKs and bazookas, nuclear warheads, and the Dallas Cowboys going out here with the fate of a mustard seed and a slingshot trying to slay Goliath. Nah, man, we ain't finna do that. We ain't finna do that. They out here got bullets that shoot through bricks, and the Dallas Cowboys out here, man, perpetrating. They out here perpetrating with water guns and stuff, man. So no, you can't win. You can't win like that, man. And I'm sorry. You just can't win like that. He said, it do give the Mike Zimmer as intern head coach vibes if Mike gives us a losing season starting out. Hey, the way that schedule falls is going to determine a lot. The way that this schedule falls is going to determine a lot, bro. Would I bring back J. Lou for the right price? Because you got to remember, Stephon Gilmore is going to be a free agent himself, and Stephon Gilmore had a procedure to repair that torn labrum. So I don't really know what the depth at the cornerback room is looking like. So are they going to go out there and put the run blend back out at the other outside corner position, or are they going to let the run blend take the slot back over and then elevate one of the young corners like Nahshon Wright or the boy we drafted in the 5th round that we traded up for? Are they going to sign another veteran to come out there and play outside corner for them? There's a bunch of questions that need to be answered. In regards to what they're going to do out there. West Coast, what's up with you, man? They were tapping in and showing love to the channel. Salute to you, my brother. But yeah, it just really depends on the strategy the Dallas Cowboys are going to deploy. So if the run blend is going to go back out to the boundary, you need another nickel corner. And even if you wanted to say, hey, we got nickels on the team, y'all know I rock with Israel Mukuamu, and I thought he did a damn good job in the postseason the prior year, and I don't think he got his opportunity this year. So even if you say Izzy should get the job, you still need to have depth at the slot corner position. So depending on what Jordan Lewis wants, you can still bring him back and bolster that depth. Yeah, Eric Scott Jr. Yeah, that's the other young guy that they had brought in last year. So it is going to be a question of how well these guys develop. how well the coaching staff trusts them, and what kind of assets they're willing to throw at the problem. But you do have a need at corner. We're just not really talking about it. We're just not really talking about it. But Stephon Gilmore was brought in to be your other outside corner. Now you're going to either have to put the Ron Bland back out there at the outside corner and sign somebody else to play slot, or you're going to have to figure something else out. But that's a very good question, though. That's a very good question. Yeah, salute to my brother West Coast, man. Salute. So we got about 5 more minutes before I gotta depart. Like I said, I'm on my lunch break. So y'all got any questions before we depart from here, man? Do y'all got any questions before we depart from the liquor store? Because I will be back live again later on tonight, about six or so, about 6:15, something like that. I'll be back live again tonight. So what y'all looking at? What y'all trying to talk about before we shut down the doors to the liquor store, man? Would not mind in bringing back Gilmore. I really want somebody like DJ Reader. I really want somebody like Rankins. I want a veteran defensive tackle to help me in the middle of that defense. I want a veteran run stopping defensive tackle. Say, Henny, do you say, oh, who did I want? The candidate I want is not even available. And listen, I don't have an exact name for a candidate that I want. It's just I did not really want a retread. I did not really want a retread of these older coaches on their 3rd, 4th, 5th gig. You know what I mean? I wanted somebody that was young, that already had success against the Shanahan coaching tree. Like, I wanted a young pup. Like, the names that they're throwing out here, Willie T, like, I can live with a Mike Zimmer, I can live with a Wink Martindale, but they weren't my first choices. Those are just the guys that they're willing to bring in. You know what I mean? Those are just the guys they were willing to bring in. I don't have one. I just have a mold. I have a mold for a defensive coordinator that I want, and they just don't fit the mold. They just don't fit the mold. Because I will have to look into who the passing game coordinator is for the 49ers. I will have to look into who the passing game coordinator is for the Ravens. Like, I want somebody that's the next great defensive coordinator coming up. You know what I mean? That's had success in those systems, that's on their way up, trending, that's on one of these dynamic defenses already. They just aren't the DC. So, like, the passing game coordinator for the 49ers, Ravens, what's another top defense that we haven't just mentioned right there? So somebody like that, one of their passing game coordinators or something like that, because you can't actually hire their DCs to your DC job. You actually have to, hire somebody from over there and promote them. A DC can't leave the 49ers or Ravens and come over here and be DC, because that's a lateral move. You have to actually get promoted. But I tell you what, Willie T, I will research the particular names, and I will get back to you. And I also will bring you information on why I like them. So is that fair? With more time and preparation, I can be more prepared to answer that question. I just know the mode of a person that I want. Right, Action Pal. He said we need a mode of a defense coordinators like D'Amico Ryan, someone who played defense as a player that was physical and aggressive. Yeah, and D'Amico did a damn good job. He did a damn good job with the 49ers. He did a damn good job over there with the Texans so far. He said, should there be concerns about the here we go offense being effective at home, but not so much on the road? Yeah, there's some things that we can alter with that. We can definitely alter some things with that. Because a lot of what we do in terms of verbiage and trying to get tails on the defense based off of cadence and things like that are not as easily duplicated on the road. Right, because it's louder, it's harder to talk to your people, it's harder to get in and out of the calls. Sometimes you got to use the silent count depending on how hard the stadium is rocking. So I think there are ways around it, but it said, okay, so there's been some alterations to the rule. That's cool to know. He said, I wish they would give Rex Ryan an interview for DC. But yeah, man, we've been on here for over an hour. I do have to get back to work. So I do appreciate y'all for the love, the support. Turn your notifications on if you have not already. I will be live again about six something tonight. So thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for the support. Hit that super chat on the way out. Hit that cash up on the way out. Hit that like on the way out. Hit that share on the way out. And most importantly, slap the dog shit out of an Eagles fan on the way out of the liquor store, man. Peace, love, God bless.